Today we're going to talk about which one of these two texts is real. This is an 18th century copy of a book on choreography by Monsieur Malpide. We don't even know his first name, done in Paris. This is a virtual copy of it, a digital version that's in the Library of Congress as part of their American Memory Archive. Well, the answer is they're both real, but one's a 21st century document and the other one is an 18th century object. Perhaps the best way to discuss them is to ask, well, what's the difference? And we can answer that by explaining what each will let you do. If we look at the digital copy, we can see that we can turn it page by page without any trouble. Turning it to page 106, and those are all choreographic tracks of one particular dance. We're going down now to the printed copy, which is right here, and we see exactly the same text. If you think about it, the difference is really easy to identify because once we have the printed text, we're able to pick it up, carry it around the room, rub it in the nose of some student who has trouble learning from it. When we take the virtual text up here, it can be an excellent teaching tool. We can spread this thing on a much larger screen and gather our class around it to identify the tracks of the dance, the men and the women, and even how they turned in and turned out. So they both have their usefulness, and perhaps the best way to look at it is that the one from the 18th century allows for more intimate teaching because the instructor who would have this book would simply put his students in the proper lines, put the music on, and then correct them as they would go throughout the movements. Much more difficult to lecture from a digital version. Another interesting difference is that in the original edition, it's unique because you can mark in it, you can add dances, notations, corrections, you can paste slips of paper in there, and you can mark it up any way you want. The virtual copy, the digital copy, is much more difficult to note and to see the differences between one or the other. Also, while you can take the digital copy and pass it on to anyone you want, they've got to have a computer, a box, in order to read it, to access it, and you can only do it page by page. And if the electricity goes out, you're in pretty big trouble. The copy from the 18th century, on the other hand, very easy to lend, although you may never get it back, and or to pass on, and so it has a solidity that the virtual copy does not have. Which is better? Well, that'll be our next lecture.